Hi everyone, this is weekly horoscope with Arik Xander. Before we get into the details, I want to start by saying this plainly. This is not a week to rush yourself, okay? If things feel uncertain, if you feel like you're standing at the edge of a decision and you don't necessarily have all the clarity, you don't have all of the facts, that is not a mistake. That is okay. That is the energy, the tone, that is the vibe of the week. It is very difficult for anybody to know what's going on this week. Anyone who says that they can tell you what's going on, I don't know. It's like things feel uncertain, and that's okay. So much opportunity and potential and things that we could never even imagine come through these kinds of thresholds, through these kinds of moments. The reason why I'm saying it is because one of the slowest moving planets, Neptune, is moving into the first degree of the entire zodiac. This is one of the biggest movements of the century. So if you feel like, what is going on? I don't have the information. The astrology right now is not asking for perfect plans. There is a lot of gravity that is being misplaced, and all we need to do is be the gravity for ourselves. We need to be centered. We need to be present with what's going on. We need to breathe through it. So if you have felt like a little ungrounded lately, and if you feel like you've been unsure a bit, or like there's a lot of changes, or things are shifting faster than you can name, you are not behind. We are in Aquarius season. We have this huge transit going on. We're going to have the full moon at the end of the week. I'm telling you, if you've been feeling like, you're in the right place. Looking at the stars this week, the theme is very simple. Even if it doesn't feel easy, we need to act from our intuition before we have the proof. That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do. I'll tell you a story. The other day, I went to get my hair cut, and I was actually on the way. I was getting my hair cut in between meetings, and I was leaving my meeting, walking towards the salon, and it's about maybe 12-minute walk, okay? And my phone rings, it's the salon, and they're like, "Hey, Arik, we were wondering if we could actually push your appointment back a little bit later." And before I could even get a word in, she keeps going she goes on to tell me because we have so many issues going on with the computer system, and everything's just so crazy today. And actually, as I'm talking, I'm wondering if you could just come now in the next 10 minutes. And I start laughing and I said, well, I'm actually on the way for the appointment that's going to be in 10 minutes. And she's like, "I'm so sorry. Please just forget that I called. It's like today is just so crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I just called you and I really don't know why." And I said, "Listen, I can tell you why you called me. We need to calm down right now because we are in Aquarius season. So the air is electric. There are so many planets in Aquarius. Things are unpredictable. Things are happening from outside of the box. And in a couple days, Neptune is going to be moving into Aries, which means there's a lot going on. Which means just let it pass over. So that means breathe through it, be calm. You're not doing anything wrong. Don't take it personal. Like, a lot of the stuff that we've been going through for the past years is all being piled up, and it's going to be flushed out on Sunday. And she's like, I knew there was a reason why I called you. And I said, listen, I'm an astrologist. I do this professionally. It's like, just relax, especially on Sunday. And she's like, thank God, because that's my day off and that's what I'm going to be doing. And I said, perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. So I get there, and yeah, like there was a lot of chaos going on. So then I started talking to the owner and some of the other clients and everything. So we were just calming everybody down, figuring out what's going on. By the time I left, we were nice and calm. We were prepared, talking about ascendant and sun sign and moon sign, just kind of how we are going to get through this. So it's not going to be recklessly. It's not going to be trying to fight it. It's not going to be impulsive. We just need to be honest. We all have our own skills. We all have our own ways of dealing with things. We've been through big transits before, and they've unleashed really big things in the cosmos, not at the time that they happen, but it kind of echoes through. So I want to talk about how we can work with all of this today for the week ahead. I want us to all be oriented for the week ahead. So this week, because it's this huge transition point, one that many people will feel more than they can explain, like the lady at the hair salon and many people in there. But our intuition comes online before our logic does in life. So it could be uncomfortable when we have moments like that. I know a lot of people in business who are very intuitive. They're not aware that they are intuitive because it sounds a little bit like woo-woo, because they don't know what intuition is. But intuition is giving us the solutions. It's giving us the ideas. And the intuition comes before the logic, and then the logical brain, the logical mind has to then deal with it. Now, how can we create a structure out of this? How can we create a system out of this? And so it can be uncomfortable because it's like, I don't like what my intuition's saying, or this is crazy. Like, how can I do that? Because we're used to waiting for guarantees. We're used to waiting for confirmations and signs. So many of us are waiting, like, what's the sign? It's 2:22 now, or the red car drove by, or the black cat is there, or this thing is this way. We're looking for these signs. But in a week where we're waiting for certainty or the signs or the confirmation, is actually increasing our anxiety. We want to take action based on our intuition, and that's going to bring us relief this week. That's essentially what Neptune moving into Aries for good is about. Because, of course, I have to mention it's been dancing a little bit back and forth between Aries over the past year, but now it's moving in there for good. So we want to act from our intuition and not wait, because the waiting is going to just drive us crazy. You don't need to solve the whole problem, the future. We just need to take the next true step, because when we take that step and we have that trust, a whole new reality opens. A whole new reality opens if we have done the work, obviously, because then it's a matter of, am I ready to do this or am I not? So if you notice fear showing up right before clarity, that is not a red flag. It is usually a doorway, and it can come through dreams, stories, your feed, whatever it is. We need to just walk through it. That's basically it. So I'll say this once because it's relevant for a week like this. If you find yourself wanting support, not answers, but the ability to reflect, this is exactly the kind of moment I hold space for in my classes. And they're there if you feel called. Okay, no urgency, no pressure, but we have the Aquarius class that you can watch the recording and the full moon class coming up. It's there if you need it. Okay? So all of the stars are this week are guiding us into better circumstances, but we have to take the action. We have to take the step forward. And it cannot be forced. The timing and the logistics can resist control and reorganize us at times. But the more that we allow the process to unfold, the more responsive reality is going to become for us. So it's not so much about managing each step and more about, okay, getting back to why am I doing this, being aligned, what is the goal, and allowing ourselves to have the vision of that. So think about that. Now, getting into the horoscopes for each sign for this week, looking at the chart, Aries, something new is calling you. Neptune is moving into your sign. It's not coming with instructions necessarily. This week is going to ask you to move on instinct rather than I know what's going on. Taurus, this week is unsettling your sense of safety, but for a very good reason. Holding on is not going to restore comfort, but movement, doing the action, that will restore your sense of comfort and security. Gemini, your mind wants clarity, but this week it runs on momentum instead. Conversations, ideas, and plans evolve as you engage, not before, but after. Cancer, you're being asked to step forward without emotional reassurance. So things might feel a little bit heavy midweek, revealing where you've been carrying more than you share, but the support is going to meet you after you really choose yourself, not before. Leo, this week is challenging your confidence in a subtle way. So validation doesn't arrive when you want it to. So it's going to force you to find your self-worth internally before you are sharing, before you are doing the action. Virgo, some deep emotional material surfaces are asking to be felt rather than to be fixed. This week is showing your usual problem-solving instincts and redirecting it all inward. So there's lots of refinement going on. Okay, Libra, balance is coming from truth this week, not from appeasement. So trust your internal compass. Alignment with your intuition is going to replace harmony when you are leading with honesty. Scorpio, intensity is building, demanding transformation. Avoidance is not an option here this week. Something wants to release. So the change might be a bit uncomfortable, but it's going to restore your strength. Sagittarius, your sense of meaning is shifting. So creative, emotional pressure is going to show where you've been playing it safe. Move forward when like you feel alive, when it feels alive. Even if it lacks any explanation or understanding, just move forward and toward what like is giving energy. Capricorn is like controls loosening this week, especially around your emotional foundations. Trust that stability is growing through flexibility. Aquarius, we're in your season. Your mind feels full. It feels stretched. This week is challenging how you are communicating, how you are deciding, how you are asserting yourself under pressure. You don't need all the answers. You just need to be like in the state of integrity and honesty. And Pisces, sensitivity is very high. Your ruler, Neptune, is shifting. Boundaries matter, okay? This week asks you to move forward without emotional certainty. Protect your energy and let clarity arrive in response to the actions that you take. Don't get cold feet. Just do it. Very good. So let's just now close it out with what's going on throughout the day. Remember, the focus of this week is movement without the guarantees. That's the focus. So Sunday opens the week with a party of planets in Aquarius. Our plate is full and we feel heavy and trapped, like full of air a bit. And that's all the stuff that we know. Tomorrow, everything is going to flush away, but we got to get through the day peacefully and calmly. So just relax, okay? On Monday, January 26th, Neptune is moving into Aries, and this marks the beginning of a new era of spiritual, visionary orientation, and we are being asked to be courageous, be who we are, be authentic, and like not getting sucked into trying to be somebody that we're not. So we need to trust all the nudges that are pushing us forward and toward our authentic self and who we are. If you need more information on this, please read my 2026 forecast. There's a whole chapter on it. On Tuesday, we have Mars is aligning with Pluto, creating pressure, and it's like something inside of us wants to transform or it wants to be released. If emotions feel stronger or situations escalate, it's because there's a deeper truth asking to be acknowledged. So we want to just let go of anything that's been keeping us tied up in fear or control issues, and it'll all be okay. And then as the week moves into Wednesday, Venus and Mercury both touch on Saturn. Let's just it could bring moments of doubt around relationships, and we might feel emotionally guarded or mentally constrained, questioning whether we are doing enough, or I would suggest what holds up under pressure is worth keeping. So think about that on Wednesday, because it could be a bit heavy. On Thursday, Mercury and Venus align. Very good for communication, opening the door to heartfelt communications, talking about things that you've needed to talk about. At the same time, they clash with Neptune, blurring the boundaries, heightening vulnerability. So speak clearly and build on something. Otherwise, things will get very confusing. So be honest. Don't force transparency. What needs to reveal itself will reveal itself without pushing. And then on Friday, the energy begins to settle. We're about to get into the full moon. All the transits of the week are like kind of landing, and it's kind of, let's just kind of reflect and allow everything to integrate, because it's been a really big week. And then on Saturday, the full moon window opens, and we're turning our attention toward our identity, our ego, our heart. And it's a really powerful time to reflect. Maybe we feel a bit stronger. We want to be seen. We want to be acknowledged. But we just need to use that full moon light to heal like our confidence, which is so important. I will be doing a class on that separately. So there will be more to come on that. If you feel that you need that, it will be made available for everybody to access. Okay, very good. So if you want support embodying any of this, you know where to find on my site, arikxander.com. And some people like to work with me more closely during weeks like this. And this is exactly the kind of moments like I hold space to work with people in these really big transits and transitions. So you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.